Welcome to Fine Print for Life. I'm Monique, and today we are going to talk about time management. So over the years, I've always had multiple jobs and tasks and all kinds of stuff going on. So I've had 20 years of practice to start managing my time effectively. There were points in my life where I got really burned out, and over time, I've learned how to keep tabs on the different activities I'm doing, how to prioritize, and just how to get a better work-life balance. Today, I'm specifically going to focus on a few mistakes that we make when trying to get things done and tell you some strategies on how to handle situations. The first thing is not prioritizing. It is so important to have priorities. And it's kind of like twofold, right? You need to have bigger priorities in your life. You need to have life goals. So for example, my life goal for the last 3.5 years, the main one, has been paying off my student loans. And so because I know that that is my main life goal and it's my kind of why at the moment, knowing my why really helps me kind of understand how to manage my tasks and keep focused on these little tasks that can be really annoying. So then on the micro level, we all have so many things going on in our lives, right? Like you have to walk the dog, you have to do the laundry, you have to go to work, and then at work you have all these tasks to do, and then you gotta come home and you gotta cook dinner and clean this and do that. And so sometimes it gets all jumbled in your head, and if you don't get it out on paper, it can be really just overwhelming and a mess. So sure, you could write down just a, normal list, but a really good way to do this is something called the Eisenhower Matrix or chart. And it's a really simple concept. You have one line up and down that intersects with a horizontal line, and the horizontal line is the level of urgency, and the vertical line is the importance of something. So then you're left with 4 quadrants, and the first quadrant is important and urgent. The second quadrant is important but not urgent. The third quadrant is not important but urgent. And the fourth one is not important and not urgent. As you are writing out your to-do list, you just allocate each task to the level of urgency and importance. And then you kind of focus on getting things done by importance or urgency. And this is really helpful in establishing priorities, and it was certainly a game changer for me when I learned about it. Okay, maybe you know your priorities, great. But then a mistake that many of us, including myself, make is I procrastinate. And procrastination is just like the worst thing because it makes you feel so bad and you just don't get stuff done. And so in order to avoid procrastination, I have 4 strategies that I employ. And the first one is I calendar block things. So I have Outlook calendar at work. Some people use Google Calendar. There's other electronic calendars, or you can just write them down as well. I'll take a look at my priorities list, and then I'll allocate time on the calendar for that. So that is one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is something called the power hour, and this is useful for home as well as work, where you have like 5 or 6 tasks that you want to get done and you don't really want to do them, but they have to get done. So you write those tasks down and you set a timer. You do the first task, stop the timer, write down how long it took you, and keep going until everything on your list is done. And the goal is to get it all done in 1 hour. And bonus if you finish early, because then you can go do whatever you want to do or do nothing at all. Also the 2-minute rule, which I love so much. And that's basically like, if it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it. So if your boss comes to you and asks you a question or asks you for a statistic or something or whatever it is, then you can just do it. Likewise, if you have 3 dishes to put away in the dishwasher or wash, that takes less than 2 minutes. Just do it. And doing a lot of these 2-minute things throughout the day when you have time and you're not calendar blocked or doing other things is so helpful because it reduces the pile up of stuff that you need to do. So those are the ways that I do stuff and avoid procrastination. Now, you do have to be careful not to sit around and make too many lists or spend too much time calendar blocking or planning, because that is another form of procrastination. So watch out for that, because I tend to do that. Like, I love to just like plan stuff, and then 30 minutes will go by and I'll just plan stuff instead of doing what I need to do. Another time management mistake is not communicating and managing expectations. And while it's not exactly a tip on how to specifically manage your time, it is a tip on how to manage people so that you can manage your time better. A very common scenario is you will have your day planned out and there's like no room for procrastination. You got this. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then you get that email. So then you get the email where your boss is like, I'm gonna need that TPS report. And you're like, oh my God, my whole day is going to be thrown off by this request. So what do you do in this case? Well, this is where communication and managing expectations come in, because your boss may not know what you are up to that day. So you can go to your boss with your game plan, with your set of priorities and say, hey, here are the most urgent and important things that I'm currently working on. How would you like me to prioritize these tasks along with your newest request? And say it's not your boss, but maybe it's your spouse or your coworker. I think the same rules apply. If you show people what you're working on and ask them how they want you to prioritize, or in some cases tell them where you can fit the task in depending on the scenario, then this is a really helpful way to feel like you are in control of your calendar and your time and the tasks that are in your life. So, because I mean, it would be easy to say, hey, listen, just say no to stuff. Sure, saying no has its place, but you can't always say no at work. You have to get things done, and sometimes you are the person to go to. So you must manage people's expectations and just be open about what you're working on, and 99% of the time, it's fine. You have it, some ways that I deal with managing time and a busy schedule, and I hope those are helpful for you. If you have any tips or tricks on managing time that you would like to share, I would love to hear about them in the comments below. So please leave them right down there. And if you want more content like this, please give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Bye.